The Israelite Nation, Worldwide Ministries.
Welcome to another edition of the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries podcast show. It is your host, Elder Kirk, aka the Bible Big Mouth. So today I have a special guest. This guest is one of the important spokes in the wheel, the cog in the gears that helps to support the Israelite nation. This person is one of the favorites amongst the priests here in Toronto, and I'm 100% sure that the sentiments are shared across the border over in the U.S. and over in the U.K. I want to welcome Priest Doreen.
Thank you, Priest Kurt. You're too kind. First of all, you're too kind. But thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. And I wanted to take this moment. Yeah. When it comes to, there's a lot of talk about female and all that, and we're not even going there today. Right. But aside, let's take away the gender thing. You certainly are a burning fire when it comes to this Israelite family. Like it's in you, it rolls off of you, it burns out of your eyes. I could smell it.
I can.
It's and it's a wonderful thing to see, regardless of gender. I don't care about all that and everything, but you definitely are an Israelite by and by, and it's a delight to stand by you shoulder to shoulder. It truly is.
Thank you, Priest Kurt. Thank you.
Absolutely. So, we have a lot to talk about today. I know where we're going to end up. Let's start off with you were at the rally.
Yeah.
You were at the rally last week.
Yes.
You were definitely rallying. I saw some photos, and I saw bits of some of your speeches. Take us through the day briefly as to what you saw, how you felt. It was a rally of the ages.
Yeah.
Here in Toronto, this was monumental, especially the message, right? It wasn't just a march to march. It was the message of you need to correct this because it's not going to stop.
Right.
But I'll leave that for you.
Right.
Tell us a bit about the rally.
Well, the rally, like I said earlier, that it was very much a spectacular event. Very spectacular event. There are no words to convey exactly how I truly feel, other than I am always in awe of the God of Israel. We've been around rallies. I mean, we've been marching and protesting, oh my gosh, as far back to the 50s and 60s, maybe even beyond that, and going to this particular rally by Remember the 400 was definitely a unique experience, a very different experience, because we weren't going for the same reasons. You mentioned being an Israelite, and I think that is the biggest factor in all of this. Going to protest or going to march or going to a rally as an Israelite has to always come from a very different place and a different perspective. I think Elder Shadrach, our elder, was on last week with you on the Saturday and spoke about marching. And I agree with him. We've been marching all the time, and we, in the very beginning, weren't even supposed to be marching because our rightful place was always to lead. Right. And we just fell off.
Right.
We fell off, and like Deuteronomy says, we became the tail because we went worshiping after other gods. So since then, we have been marching, still worshiping other gods. There is no protest for Christianity. Everyone talks about police brutality and systemic racism and the reforms and all these kinds of different reforms and invite us to have a seat at the table, all this kind of talk. But where is the reform for religion? Where is the protest against Christianity?
Why do we need a reform for religion?
Well, it's kind of like how you started off. The reason why I would like to think I would want to be a diehard Israelite is because before I even knew who I was as an Israelite, I too was in Christianity. I may not have been practicing every Sunday or Saturday and going there, but I was still under that oppression by, doing the holidays, the Christmas and the Halloweens and the New Year's and the Mother's Day and the Father, all these things, those pagan holidays that were imposed upon me, right? Then you grow up as a child watching movies, the Ten Commandments and Samson and Delilah and all these different movies where the actors don't look like the people in the Bible.
Right.
And then we come down to Jesus, and he doesn't look like what's described in the scriptures, right? And then the whole world is talking about everyone's Christian, and we're all part of Christianity, and then the word Christianity is not even in the Bible.
So it's a rabbit hole that just keeps
going. It gets deeper and
Right.
deeper and
Right.
deeper.
Right.
And the more you say, okay, I'm going to take the blinders off, like Elder Shadrach came and said, this is the name of our God.
Right.
He introduced it, I had the joy and the pleasure of reading The Truth, the Lie in the Bible. At first when I read it, I'll be honest, I didn't really understand it, and then I reread it again, and it was like, I'm going to open my mind more to really try to grasp what this author is saying.
Right.
What is Elder Shadrach saying? And then when I did that, the words just flew off the pages, and I digested it, and I was like, I get it. I'm an Israelite. I have been lied to from birth. We just kept passing down the lie from generation to generation, going, we got to go christen the child. Take the child to the church and christen the child.
Yeah.
You would be a bad parent if you didn't christen your child.
Right.
Even that, and you would ask, well, what does that mean, christen the child? What are you doing?
Where is it?
What do you do? It's not even in the Bible anywhere.
Right.
So just having that understanding and knowing when I went this past Saturday, and going in support of the youth even, to see them speaking out against Christianity.
Powerful.
Very powerful.
Powerful.
Because the strength comes from them. Speaking out against this oppression of these false gods, of everything that have been imposed upon us from the time we left the western side of Africa and made it to these shores, to the Caribbean and the Americas, How can you not? And then marching. Being there was a moment, like again, when we turned the corner and saw the trail of people, thousands of people there, and us being the Israelites at the front, leading the forefront. That's how it was always meant to be, And as I was there and walking and looking around and seeing everything, I could not but help think about our time when our forefathers and foremothers marched around the walls of Jericho. Like, what a sight that must have been. And the priests were there, and the singers were there, and
the Ark of the Covenant was there.
And the Ark of the Covenant was there.
And everybody's silent.
Everyone is silent, and we're marching the 7 times, and we're doing all of this, and then God of Israel sends his blessings.
Right.
That's it. I wasn't at the walls of Jericho, right? But man, if I could have had a peek or just a glimpse, a sliver, I felt this moment of like, this is how it should be.
And that's what I mean when I say that you're a burning fire, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I mean. Like you sitting there recapping it and thinking about the walls of Jericho, it just excites me, right? It's just, it's energy for energy, and it's wonderful. It's funny how you say, you were a Christian, and this is not about Christianity, this particular topic, but, you weren't a Christian. You were a Christian. However, you were not doing all the things that some may do. And it's interesting how it doesn't matter how little you do or how much you do. You're in the category of a Christian. It doesn't really matter. Right, it's plug and play. Come as you will.
And it's still part of the lie.
It's all. Whether you do little
or a lot.
It's all part of the lie.
Yeah.
You also talked about betrayal, how you felt when you went to the rabbit hole and all the different things you saw as a lie. Talk about that betrayal a bit. What was the feeling? Yeah. Well,
I think that it was an enlightenment at first, right? It's like, wow, I feel like I found gold, like treasure, right? And self-worth and value, because for so long society tells you you're nothing, and your beginning starts at slavery. Right? I'm always
somewhere in Africa.
Somewhere in Africa in trees and all this kind of stuff, silliness, right? I'm always reminded of a movie that I watched with Indiana Jones, and he had to pick a certain cup out of this stack of jewels and treasure. And he picked the one that didn't have any jewels on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I always liken that to think of Israelites and the children of Jacob. We're at the bottom of the barrel. Nobody likes us. Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everyone treats us, they look at us and shake their head and spit at us.
Yeah.
I mean, even the people that are treated the worst still look down upon us.
Yes.
You know, like, who are you kind of thing. And you look in our communities and see the devastation and all this kind of stuff. For me, it was, the enlightenment was like a light bulb went off. Like, because I couldn't understand at first, how can we be so devastated, but yet everyone still wants to be like us, and yet and still we lead in so many things.
That is a phenomenon.
Yeah.
Like that question you just asked is magical. You were hated.
Yes.
Disliked and treated as such.
Yep.
But everything, every fruit about us, every aspect
capitalized
of us,
upon, is taken, and yet we're the worst of the people.
We're the worst.
How does that one and one?
I don't know.
It
I
doesn't
have
add
no
up.
idea what that is.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to
right?
respond to that. But.
So to understand, when you read in the scriptures, Deuteronomy 28 and Deuteronomy 7, and talking about us being a special people, and that as long as we serve the God of Israel, we will be put on top. You know, to understand how we have fallen so far from that, it gives you a sense of worth and feeling like, wow, I really am a somebody. I really am a person that belongs to a God, to a family, to a people, to a heritage, a rich heritage at that. You know, I have a past that is fruitful and great and grand, that someone, for some reason, is trying to let me not understand that I have this rightful place with this most amazing God. They are trying to keep me from that most amazing God, you know, for whatever reason. You know, they change every, like I said, with the movies and the paintings, none of it looks like us. Everything to disconnect you from the most amazing and awesome God that there is, the creator of heaven and earth. As long as we are not connected, why would someone want to intervene and interfere with that? Made me think, you know, something's wrong here. Something's wrong. And then when you get to that enlightenment and you start studying and you're zealous, you run on the highest mountaintops and you scream, everybody, I have the answer.
I got this gold cup.
I got this gold cup. I know it doesn't look shiny right now, but it's rich. I promise you, the water in this cup it will let you live again.
Right.
You know, and you tell everyone, but then when you tell everyone that looks like you or not, especially the people that look like you, they don't buy in, they don't believe, they don't want to hear what you have to say.
It's not met with any excitement.
Not at all.
None at all.
It's more about questioning what other people do. Well, what about this race and that race? Yeah. What? I'm trying to tell you that you are special. Mm-hmm. Why don't we believe that we're special?
We're filled with phenomena.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You know, as you said there, you know, somebody is purposely trying to withhold us from our full potential.
Yeah.
Right? And that potential is when we connect with our God and our culture and all the things we need to do, it's endless, the amount of possibilities, right? Yeah. One of those possibilities is if you allow us to worship our God, when we are blessed, the cup would run it over and drip on you.
Yeah.
Allow us, leave us, and you would in return receive some blessing.
That's right.
But they fight against that because they want to capitalize on what it is that we have spiritually. All of our traits, we sing, we dance, we run, we jump, we dunk basketballs, we invent everything. They want to put a harness on that and capitalize. Yeah. But if they just thought about it, let us do what we got to do.
Let us do what we need to do.
In return, they would be blessed.
That's right.
They would be.
They would be. So like going back to the rally, it's again, initially were we ever supposed to march? No. But we've fallen from that. We don't even know our God's name anymore, right? So we're forced here now to march, but we're marching under false pretenses. So, I mean, the whole world has been marching for George Floyd. And there's all this talk about changes that are going to come and that are going to happen. But look, this past weekend, Rayshard Brooks was just murdered by another police officer, right? So it's, again, under the banner of Christianity, we're not going to go very far. We're not going to progress. And until we wake up to see that, we're always going to be in the dumpster. Always.
I want you to take this moment and kind of spell it out. I understand what you just said. Those who may be listening for the first time, they may be a bit confused. What we're saying? One, we're not Christians, so we are not Christians at all.
No.
We're Israelites,
Right.
and we're saying that you need to leave and stop Christianity. Dig a little deeper, lay it out a little bit more in layman's terms for those that may be following what that means. Because like we said, you could be a little bit of a Christian, doing little things once in a while. You could be the church rat, shrine rat.
Right. Yeah.
It sounds worse, a shrine.
Yeah.
Right? You could be the shrine rat daily, or you could be every now and then you whatever, and you show up to Christmas, and then that's it, right? So step A, step B, step C. We can't give you Z. What does one need to do to remove themselves from Christianity?